Welcome back, traveler. You've found your quiet corner of the cosmos, where we drift through the universe, one peaceful breath at a time. Tonight, our journey takes a curious turn. We'll discover what space tastes like, what the moon smells like, and why astronauts sometimes float in their dreams. We'll explore how the universe breathes, how stars remember, and how silence can sound like music. This is NASA's Hidden Gems, a collection of 50 quiet stories from the edge of time, told softly for those who wander and for those who dream. Before we begin, tell us where you're watching from tonight. Are you in bed, on a late train, or floating somewhere between thoughts? Leave a comment. I love seeing our little space crew scattered across the stars. If these stories bring you calm, tap the like button. It helps this tiny channel reach more dreamers. And subscribe so you never drift alone through the dark. Now, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let's begin the journey. The stars are waiting. High above the turning Earth, where daylight and night chase each other every 90 minutes, the International Space Station drifts in perpetual sunrise. Its modules gleam softly, silver shells stitched together by human hands, each one humming with air pumps, computers, and the steady heartbeat of electricity. Inside, everything floats. Pens, photographs, strands of hair, tiny constellations in the small cosmos of a cabin. And the astronauts who live here learn a slower, more deliberate way of moving. They push gently from wall to wall, fingertips guiding them like wind through water. Every motion is careful, graceful, necessary. To sleep in orbit, an astronaut doesn't simply lie down. There is no down. They unzip a narrow cocoon, a sleeping bag anchored to the wall or ceiling, though ceiling and floor are the same here. Some choose the ceiling just because they can, delighted by the novelty of being upside down and perfectly comfortable. When the lights dim, they slip inside, zip the bag, and feel the slow drift of weightlessness settle over them. There is no mattress, no blanket pressing down, no sense of gravity to hold them in place. Instead, the soft fabric hugs their shape, a reminder of boundaries in a place where boundaries dissolve. Still, the body craves the familiar. NASA engineers added a thin, stiff panel behind the sleeping bag to mimic the gentle pressure of a bed. Without it, some astronauts wake disoriented, arms drifting above their heads like seaweed in a current. Scott Kelly once admitted he missed the weight of a pillow so much that he fastened his head to a small cushion with Velcro, just enough pressure to remind him which way was down. In the quiet hum of the module, air moves constantly. Every compartment has fans that never rest, circulating oxygen, pushing away the invisible clouds of carbon dioxide that gather when you exhale. In microgravity, those bubbles don't rise. They linger. Without the fans, a sleeper could literally breathe the same exhaled air until it thinned of oxygen. So even as the astronauts dream, the machinery dreams beside them, whispering, breathing, keeping rhythm. That whisper becomes the station's lullaby, a soft mechanical ocean, steady and protective. New arrivals often struggle to sleep without earplugs. The sound is everywhere, a reminder that the metal shell around them is alive with purpose. Time aboard the ISS is strange. Every 90 minutes, the crew witnesses a sunrise and a sunset. The planet rolls beneath them, glowing blue and gold, then fading to shadow. 16 times a day, light pours through the portholes, and 16 times it fades again. To keep their schedules human, they live on Greenwich Mean Time. Alarms, meals, experiments, all tied to Earth's steady rotation even as they race far faster. But no one truly forgets how many dawns they've seen. Each is unique, some pale and cold, some blazing like molten copper. Sunita Williams once said that every sunrise felt like a gift, every sunset a prayer. It reminded her of how fragile the boundary between night and day really is. There is a window called the cupola, a crystal dome that looks down on Earth. Astronauts float there during their spare moments, feet hooked under a rail, faces inches from glass. Below them, continents slide by like clouds. Storms bloom and fade. The aurora spreads its green and violet veils across the poles, shimmering so close they seem touchable. From this height, lightning doesn't crack, it blossoms. Whole cloud systems glow from within, hundreds of miles wide, pulsing silently. Each flash is a whisper of energy, unseen from the ground. Many say that gazing through the cupola is the most peaceful part of their day. It's a moving meditation, one that changes minute to minute, orbit to orbit. Some bring music, slow and wordless, letting chords merge with the hum of the station. Others bring notebooks. They write, sketch, or simply record what the heart feels when looking at the world as a single shining sphere. Every astronaut describes it differently, yet the essence is the same. A sudden, irreversible sense that all boundaries are illusions. Looking down at Earth, they see no nations, only coastlines and clouds. The thin atmosphere gleams like a halo, frail, irreplaceable. This transformation has a name, the overview effect. It began with Apollo 8 when Bill Anders captured the photograph now called Earthrise. He said our planet looked like a fragile Christmas tree ornament hanging in the blackness of space. That single image changed how humanity saw itself. One world, shared and delicate. On the ISS, astronauts experience that revelation daily. Some say it makes them quieter. Others say it fills them with purpose. Most simply watch, grateful. Space is silent, but the station is not. Fans hum, pumps thrum, metal expands with the sun's warmth and contracts as night returns. Sometimes, a soft ping echoes down a corridor, a bolt settling, a panel cooling. These tiny sounds are reminders that home is near, even in orbit. When astronauts return from a spacewalk, they bring with them the smell of space. It clings to the fabric of their suits, a sharp metallic scent like hot iron and ozone. They describe it as burnt steak or welding fumes, a signature of starlight striking atomic oxygen. To some, it smells of adventure. To others, simply of hard work done well. Inside, the smell of coffee and reheated meals mingles with sterilized air. There's a comfort in that ordinariness, proof that even in the infinite, life keeps its familiar notes. Each crew member follows a schedule pinned precisely to mission control, work, exercise, meals, communication windows, all measured. Yet sleep remains a personal ritual. Before turning in, they dim laptop screens, secure floating tools, and often send one last message home. Then they slip into their cocoon, zip the fabric, and close their eyes. Outside, Earth drifts below like a nightlight in motion. Even asleep, they orbit the planet 5 more times before dawn. Dreams here are lighter. Gravity no longer pulls at the edges of imagination. Some dream of walking, of the feel of weight beneath their feet. Others dream of flight, though in truth, they already are flying, perpetually falling around the world. When morning comes, the station glows again with golden light. The fans still hum. The coffee still steams. Another 16 sunrises await. High above the planet's poles, ribbons of green and violet shimmer like curtains caught in a silent wind. They twist and unfurl, following invisible paths drawn by Earth's magnetic field. From the ground, the aurora feels far away, a distant light show against a cold sky. But from orbit, astronauts find themselves inside it. When the station's path crosses the poles, the world below turns to shadow, and then, suddenly, light blossoms all around. It isn't a beam or a flash, but a slow-breathing glow that wraps the spacecraft in color. Ionized particles from the sun strike the upper atmosphere, colliding with oxygen and nitrogen, and the darkness blushes green. Purples appear at the edges, deep as wine. The entire planet seems to exhale light. Through the cupola window, the aurora drifts below like a living ocean. The station passes through the upper fringes of the display, and for a few heartbeats, the crew floats inside a sea of light. No sound, only motion. Waves of radiance rippling silently across thousands of miles. Someone might whisper over the comms, a soft, "Look at that," and then silence again, because words only break the spell. Every astronaut carries a camera, but even the best lenses cannot capture what it feels like to be there. The colors pulse in ways sensors cannot register. The curves of the planet, the contrast of darkness and dawn. It is too large, too alive. So most just watch. They let the moment etch itself directly into memory, where it glows long after the orbit has passed. When dawn returns, the aurora fades to ghostly gray, and then to the blues of morning. The station slips from night to day in less than a minute. One moment, a velvet field of stars. The next, a horizon edged in gold. The sun rises 16 times each Earth day, and each rise feels new. There is no true morning or evening, only the endless rhythm of light and shadow. It gives every orbit its own small ceremony of renewal. Long before the ISS existed, the crew of Apollo 8 witnessed a sight no human had seen, the Earth rising above the Moon's horizon. They were preparing to photograph the lunar surface when the planet appeared, blue, white, and impossibly fragile against black space. Bill Anders lifted his camera and caught it almost by accident. That single image, later called Earthrise, would change the way humanity saw itself. In the silence of the command module, the astronauts murmured in awe. They had come to explore the moon, but what they discovered was Earth. A tiny world suspended in nothingness, wrapped in a paper-thin atmosphere, radiant and alive. The moment was both scientific and spiritual. It revealed, without needing to explain, how small and precious our home truly is. Later missions would bring back more images, but none carried quite the same weight. The first sight of Earth from beyond its own orbit touched something ancient, an instinct older than language. It said, "This is all of us. All the oceans and forests, every voice and every story, contained in a sphere you could hide behind your thumb." Astronauts aboard the ISS see their own version of Earthrise every 90 minutes. As the station rounds the night side of the planet, the thin line of atmosphere begins to glow. First indigo, then cobalt, then a band of pure gold as sunlight grazes the edge. From above, dawn travels sideways. It sweeps along the rim of Earth like liquid fire, illuminating mountains and oceans in quick succession. They watch continents light up, cities spark awake, thunderstorms flicker like neurons in a vast brain. To witness 16 dawns a day is to be constantly reminded of renewal. Fatigue and isolation melt a little each time the first light spills over the horizon. Some crew members mark their personal mornings by the first glimpse of blue, others by the first sip of coffee floating from a sealed pouch. But every orbit carries that same quiet joy, the return of light. For decades, astronauts have spoken of a feeling that comes from seeing Earth whole. Psychologists later gave it a name, the overview effect. It is described as a cognitive shift, but those who experience it know it is also emotional, almost spiritual. From this distance, national borders vanish. Wars, politics, and daily noise shrink to invisibility. What remains is a sphere of astonishing unity, a single organism of land, ocean, and cloud. You can see the thin haze of atmosphere that sustains every breath we take. It glows like a soap bubble, delicate and temporary, and you understand in an instant how easily it could be lost. Some astronauts cry, some fall into reverent silence. Many feel compelled to protect what they have seen. After returning to Earth, they speak to classrooms, write books, join environmental causes. They say that once you have seen the planet from space, you can never again think of it as separate pieces. It becomes one living thing, and you, too, are part of its heartbeat. Inside the station, after each mission task is done, crew members often drift back to the windows. They float there for long stretches, tethered by a foot strap, just watching. Below them, the world turns soundlessly. They see the Sahara as waves of amber, the Himalayas as frozen ripples, the Amazon as a pulse of green breathing mist. Sunlight slides across oceans, turning them to liquid silver. The shadow of the night side follows behind, painting the curve in deep blue. Sometimes, while the others sleep, one astronaut stays awake to witness another orbit alone. They turn off the cabin lights to make the stars brighter and watch the slow passage of continents. No sound except the soft buzz of ventilation. No weight except the suit around their shoulders. It is in those hours that the overview effect deepens, from thought into feeling, from philosophy into peace. Space looks empty, but it is full of quiet light. Even between orbits, the background glows faintly with the Milky Way. Thousands of stars form a mist across the black, and if you let your eyes relax, the pattern seems to breathe. That slow rhythm of light appearing, fading, returning, matches the rhythm of breath inside the station, in and out, day and night, orbit after orbit. Astronauts say that in this rhythm they rediscover calm. When homesickness creeps in or the tasks grow tedious, they find a window and watch the world. Seeing the planet from above turns worry into perspective. It reminds them why they came, to explore, to learn, to be caretakers of curiosity. Sometimes they spot familiar places, a coastline they grew up near, a river bend, a pattern of lights that traces their hometown. From this height, the personal and the cosmic merge. A single street glimmers like a memory. A continent becomes a dream. If you could stand outside the station and look back at Earth without glass between you, you would see a color no camera captures. A blue so deep it feels infinite. Clouds drift over it like breath. The poles gleam white, the deserts burn gold, and in between lies every story humanity has ever told. From here, it is impossible to tell where one country ends and another begins. The Amazon bleeds into the Andes, the Mediterranean into the Sahara. The planet is one continuous painting, brushed by weather and sunlight. This unity humbles even the most seasoned travelers. During one orbit, a small island nation may gleam like a pearl. 45 minutes later, it vanishes into night. The impermanence becomes a lesson. Everything is transient, yet everything continues. You watch the cycles repeat: storm, calm, dusk, dawn, and realize the same pattern moves through your own heartbeat, your own thoughts. Eventually, the sunlight fades again. The station enters Earth's shadow, and the stars sharpen into focus. City lights ignite below, tiny constellations echoing the ones above. From this vantage, humanity looks like fireflies scattered across the dark, fragile and beautiful. The crew floats quietly, watching both skies at once, the sky of space and the sky of Earth. Between them, they hover, belonging to both and neither. That in-between place becomes their meditation. As the next sunrise begins to edge over the horizon, a faint line of turquoise appears. It grows brighter, spreading into orange, then white. The cycle begins again, another Earthrise, another reminder that light always returns. Far beyond the moon's pull, a telescope the size of a house floats in a quiet orbit, its golden mirrors unfolded like petals in sunlight. This is the James Webb Space Telescope, humanity's newest window into the deep, balanced at a point of calm called L2. 18 hexagonal mirrors form one perfect eye, each surface gleaming with a whisper-thin coat of gold that reflects the faint warmth of ancient stars. Tiny motors move each segment by fractions of a wavelength, guiding them until the reflections merge into one. When Webb opened its eyes, the first image was of a single bright star, proof that everything had unfolded just as planned. Webb's gaze turned toward the pillars of creation, towers of dust and gas rising like mountains of smoke within the Eagle Nebula. Infrared vision pierced the dust, revealing countless newborn suns glowing faintly red inside those towering clouds. Then Webb looked to the Carina Nebula, a place of ridges and valleys shaped by stellar winds, a coastline of vapor 7 light-years high. Astronomers call it the cosmic cliffs, mountains of gas lit by the fires of creation, glowing softly in infrared light. In a single patch of sky no larger than a grain of sand, Webb revealed thousands of distant galaxies, the deep field. Each faint spark is not a star, but an entire galaxy, its light traveling for billions of years to arrive at this golden mirror. From apparent emptiness, Webb uncovered abundance, a universe that hums quietly with endless suns. Closer to home, Webb studied the Southern Ring Nebula, where 2 stars orbit together, one bright, one fading. For the first time, we saw both partners, the living and the dying, locked in a graceful luminous dance. Then came the Helix Nebula, the so-called Eye of God, its fading star shedding delicate rings of light, a quiet beauty born of farewell. In another image, Webb captured 2 distant galaxies merging, their light bent into the shape of a cosmic question mark, a playful punctuation written by gravity itself, reminding us that even the universe loves a mystery. Infrared light is stretched by distance. Webb sees that stretch, turning time into color. Each photon that touches its mirror is an echo from the past, a message billions of years old. Behind every image are countless quiet minds and steady hands, guiding a machine delicate enough to feel starlight. They built it, released it, and let it sail 1,000,000 miles away, trusting it to dream alone. Now light still arrives, tiny travelers completing journeys that began before Earth was born. Those photons cross the void, touch gold, and become color, appearing finally as pictures glowing on our screens. The same light that left ancient stars ends its voyage in your eyes tonight. When you look at those images, you are not an outsider. You are the cosmos recognizing itself. Take a breath and imagine floating beside that golden mirror, surrounded by silence and light. The Webb era has only begun, yet it reminds us of something timeless. Curiosity is a form of love, and every act of looking deeply is an act of faith in beauty. Across the vastness of our solar neighborhood, each planet keeps its own rhythm, a quiet heartbeat echoing through the dark. Jupiter's atmosphere churns with endless storms, larger than worlds, yet somehow graceful, a dance of color and pressure. At its poles, clusters of cyclones arrange themselves into perfect geometry, 5 at the south, 8 at the north, a symmetry that seems almost deliberate. The Juno spacecraft drifts past these tempests, capturing ribbons of ammonia clouds curling like cream in coffee. Deep within, lightning crackles through clouds of ammonia and water, a frozen storm creating soft hailstones scientists call mushballs. Farther out, Saturn turns in silence, its rings catching sunlight like glass threads. Each ring is made of billions of pieces, ice, rock, dust, all moving in harmony, never touching yet forever circling. Cassini once slipped between those rings and the planet itself, flying through a gap only a few thousand kilometers wide. In that moment, we saw Saturn's atmosphere rippling like silk. Even its shadow moves with elegance, a dark curve sliding slowly over the shining bands. Beyond, Neptune glows a serene blue, winds racing faster than sound across its clouds. The James Webb Telescope captured its faint rings again, ghostly halos unseen for decades, luminous and delicate. Inside that distant world, pressure may crush carbon into crystals. Scientists believe it rains diamonds, slow showers of brilliance descending into darkness. Its neighbor Uranus shares the same secret, frozen calm above, unimaginable beauty within. Voyager 2 flew by these giants long ago, a silent messenger carrying greetings from Earth. On its side spins the Golden Record, a time capsule of music, laughter, the sound of rain, and whispers in 55 languages. There are songs of whales and thunder, the brainwaves of a woman in love, and a mother kissing her child, all drifting forever between the stars. Even now, decades later, Voyager continues outward, carrying those tender sounds farther than any voice has ever traveled. Back toward the inner worlds, Mars lies quiet beneath a blush of dust. Its deserts stretch endlessly, carved by winds and memories of rivers long gone. Rovers trace careful paths across its plains, leaving soft tracks that may remain for centuries. At sunset, the sky turns blue at the center and orange at the edges, a reversal of Earth's colors, a reminder that even familiarity can surprise. And then there is home. Seen from afar, Earth is the only planet we know that shines with the color of life. Oceans glimmer like glass. Continents breathe clouds and light. Our planet is both fragile and fierce, a balance of storm and stillness. From the station's window, the aurora glows across its poles, a veil of green flame guarding the thin skin of air that keeps us alive. Together, these worlds form a family, 8 planets, countless moons, all orbiting the same quiet star. Each carries its own kind of calm, its own version of beauty. The molten shimmer of Mercury, the cloudy grace of Venus, the storming heart of Jupiter. They remind us that serenity and chaos are never separate. They are simply 2 sides of motion. From this distance, the sun becomes a single point of warmth. Around it, our worlds spin like dust motes caught in a beam of light. Somewhere out there, Voyager still travels, its golden record turning slowly, playing the sounds of home to the empty dark. And that tiny dot of light, our world, continues to shine, carrying every dream, every voice, every quiet heartbeat we have ever known. Breathe in. Let the planets drift around you. The solar system keeps its rhythm, steady and soft, waiting for you to rest among the stars. In orbit, even the smallest object can reveal a mystery. A cosmonaut once watched a wingnut spin in midair, and then, without warning, it flipped over and kept spinning. It turned again, then again, endlessly reversing itself, obeying a law of motion no one had ever seen so clearly. Scientists later called it the Johnny-Bekov effect, a reminder that balance in space is delicate, and that motion can be beautiful even when it seems impossible. In weightlessness, everything dances. A drop of water becomes a perfect sphere. A single breath sends it drifting like a planet around a sun. Each tiny world reflects the station, the Earth, and the quiet curiosity that sent us here. When astronauts return from a walk in space, their suits carry a scent, something like hot metal, welding fumes, or burnt steak. No air carries the smell out there. It forms when atomic oxygen and starlight strike the metal, leaving behind a trace of dying stars. The smell of space is, quite literally, the scent of ancient suns. The moon has its own aroma too. Lunar dust smells like spent gunpowder, sharp and dry. Gene Cernan said it clung to everything: suits, gloves, even the air inside the capsule. A fragrance of adventure that lingered long after the engines fell silent. Not every wonder glows. Some are made of darkness itself, vast clouds of dust so thick they swallow the starlight behind them. Astronomers call them dark nebulae. the wombs of future stars. Through infrared eyes, these voids shimmer faintly. Within the shadows, new suns are forming, invisible but inevitable. The James Webb Telescope revealed one such nursery, the Carina Nebula. It looks like a mountain range of vapor, peaks and valleys sculpted by starlight, 7 light-years tall. Inside those ridges, stars are being born right now, their first light traveling outward across time. Elsewhere drifts the Veil Nebula, the ghost of a star that died 20,000 years ago. Its filaments of gas still glow, curling like smoke through the void. A soft memorial written in light. Another fading sun created the Helix Nebula, the so-called Eye of God, shedding its layers into rippling rings. It is a glimpse of our own distant future, billions of years away. Webb found that the Southern Ring Nebula hides not one star, but 2, companions bound in a gentle waltz. One fading, one shining, both writing their farewell across the dark. In another image, 2 galaxies appear as a perfect question mark, their light bent by gravity. Even the cosmos seems to ask along with us, what else is out there? At the center of our own galaxy lies a giant cloud rich with ethyl formate, the same molecule that gives raspberries their scent and rum its flavor. If you could breathe it, the Milky Way itself would taste faintly sweet. The universe, it seems, has a sense of humor, and perhaps a sweet tooth. And somewhere beyond the reach of the planets, Voyager 1 keeps traveling. Its instruments grow quiet, its batteries weaker, yet it still sends whispers home. It has crossed into interstellar space, carrying the golden record and the memory of human curiosity. That record still spins, engraved with the heartbeat of Earth, waiting for anyone or anything that might one day listen. Farther yet, the universe folds into itself. Black holes twist space and time into a single curve, and even light cannot escape their embrace. But some scientists think that information, perhaps even memory, finds a way to survive, written into the very fabric of space-time. Everything we are may one day return to that silence, only to be reborn as stars again. For all its strange wonders, the universe still circles back to one truth. We belong to it, and it to us. From the flip of a screw in zero gravity to the shimmer of galaxies, every motion is connected. Breathe softly. Let the curiosities drift away like dreams. The cosmos will keep turning, patient, mysterious, and endlessly kind. Every journey through the cosmos eventually turns homeward. After drifting among storms and nebulae, the sight of Earth rises like a soft heartbeat in the dark. Our planet turns quietly, wrapped in a veil of cloud and light. From space it looks impossibly gentle, a blue whisper against infinity. Astronauts say returning their eyes to Earth feels like waking from a long dream. They see not continents or borders but colors, oceans breathing, deserts shining, forests pulsing green. In that reflection they glimpse themselves, the traveler and the home becoming one image. Night flows beneath them like silk. The aurora hums at the edges of the world, silent curtains of magnetized light swaying in rhythm with the sun. Each wave of green and violet reminds us that calm is not stillness, but movement slowed until it feels like rest. Cities sparkle like new constellations. Each light is a story, a family, a single pulse of warmth shining upward into space. From orbit, thunderheads flicker like thoughts. Rain falls unseen, but its rhythm carries through the clouds. Dawn approaches. First a line of gold, then a flood of warmth spreading across water. The station passes over it in silence, weightless witness to a billion mornings at once. Down below, people rise, breathe, and look to the same sky that holds this small ship of explorers. When it is time to return, the descent begins with fire. The capsule falls through layers of air surrounded by light, the sky itself welcoming them home. Parachutes bloom like flowers, slowing the fall. The hiss of air returns. Gravity takes their weight again. Feet touch ground, and for a moment the world feels heavy and strange. But the scent of soil and wind is a comfort beyond words. They stand quietly, breathing deeply, listening to the ordinary sounds of home, wind, birds, distant voices, each one a gift. Back on Earth, everyone can share that same peace. We do not need rockets to travel far. A quiet mind can journey beyond the stars. The sky above every roof is the same sky the astronauts see. Look up, and you are already part of their voyage. From a distance, the Earth is smaller than a pearl, a single glimmer suspended in endless dark. That speck holds every ocean, every heartbeat, every dream. Carl Sagan once said, "That's here, that's home, that's us." All our joy and sorrow contained in one blue shimmer. The universe is vast, but it is not empty. It is filled with echoes, of laughter, of music, of curiosity reaching outward. Each of us sends our own faint light into that darkness, and together it becomes a constellation of hope. Now let the journey fade. You have traveled through the black, touched the stars, and returned to the quiet heart of home. The planets spin, the galaxies turn, and somewhere a golden record keeps playing the sound of rain. Breathe in, and let the world turn beneath you. You are safe, small, and infinite all at once. Good night, traveler. Sleep well beneath the endless sky. Time, like light, moves without hurry. The universe breathes in ages, each moment a billion years long. Since the first spark of creation, space itself has stretched and cooled, a slow exhalation that continues even now. Once, everything was close, matter and light entwined. The newborn cosmos glowed with heat and promise. Over eons, gravity gathered the glow into shapes. Vast whirls of stars, galaxies blooming like cosmic flowers. Each rotation takes hundreds of millions of years, yet to the universe it is a single, graceful turn. Across that depth, galaxies drift apart, their light stretched thinner, redder, softer with distance. Every star carries its own clock. In youth, it burns bright. In age, it swells, cools, and lets go. Some die gently, exhaling clouds of color into the dark, final breaths that seed the next generation of suns. Others end in brilliance, scattering elements that will one day form planets, oceans, and life. Billions of years from now, the bright stars will fade. The galaxy will dim to red embers, quiet fires burning low. Eventually, even those will cool, their light surrendering to the long calm of darkness. The universe will not end with a bang, but with a sigh, a silence so vast it feels like rest. The last warmth will linger in the microwave glow, a whisper of heat left from the beginning. That faint murmur is the oldest light we can still see, the memory of the universe's first breath. In the dream of deep time, everything changes shape. Stars become dust, dust becomes stars again. Creation and stillness alternate like heartbeats. Nothing is truly lost, only transformed, each transformation slower than the last. If someone could drift here, billions of years hence, they would see almost nothing, only a few lonely galaxies glowing faintly in the distance. Those lights would be time capsules, their rays traveling through the quiet forever. And yet inside every consciousness, the universe replays its story. Memory becomes telescope, imagination becomes light. When we dream, we travel the same path that photons follow, from beginning to end, from fire to calm. Perhaps deep time is not distance but rhythm. Every heartbeat, every tide, every orbit echoes that rhythm. It is the tempo of existence itself, the universe inhaling and exhaling across eternity. Now let the ages blur. Feel the weight of time dissolve into stillness. All that ever was, all that will be, turn softly together. Rest in that motionless orbit where even time closes its eyes. Every planet has companions, silent wanderers that circle faithfully, keeping watch through the ages. Moons are the universe's quiet poets, writing their orbits in slow, deliberate lines. Our own moon rises and falls like breath. Its pull moves the seas, its light softens the night. From space, Earth and Moon turn together like a heartbeat made of stone and water. Farther out, Jupiter's moon Europa lies beneath a shell of glittering ice. Beneath that frozen crust, an ocean deeper than Earth's hides in the dark, a silent sea warmed by the planet's gravity. Geysers rise through cracks in the ice, spraying salt water into space. If life exists there, it dreams beneath miles of frozen light. Beyond Jupiter, Saturn keeps a moon called Enceladus, small, bright, and alive with motion. From its south pole, fountains of ice burst upward, painting delicate rings around the planet. Those plumes shimmer in sunlight, drifting back like snow that never falls. The Cassini probe once flew through them, tasting water rich with salt and organic dust. Tiny hints that even here, far from warmth, the recipe for life endures. Another Saturnian moon, Titan, keeps its secrets behind thick amber clouds. Rain falls there too, not of water, but of methane. Rivers carve valleys, lakes glisten like mirrors of liquid gas. It is a world that breathes in slow motion, a frozen echo of what early Earth might have been. Even in the coldest corners, nature writes the same story: sky, sea, and longing. Farther still drifts Triton, circling Neptune backward against its spin. Its surface cracks and sighs. Geysers of nitrogen rise like smoke in the sunlight. Scientists think Triton was once a wanderer, captured by Neptune and kept ever since. A moon found, not born. It is a reminder that even in the void, gravity can mean belonging. Mars too keeps company. Two small, misshapen moons. They rise and set quickly, tumbling shadows over red deserts. One day, Phobos will spiral inward and break apart, becoming a ring of dust, a brief shimmer around a silent planet. Among the giants, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto circle like a miniature solar system. Their orbits lock in rhythm, a celestial chord that never ends. Gravity there is music too, silent, slow, but perfectly in tune. Each moon carries a different silence, the silence of ice, the silence of stone, the silence of endless orbit. Together, they keep time for the planets, marking days that last weeks and nights that last years. To watch them is to see the universe breathe. In, out, patient, eternal. And so we return to our own. The same moon that watched the first oceans stir and the first dreamer look up. Its face has not changed, though every eye that sees it does. Tonight, its light crosses air, cloud, and water to find you. It waits outside your window, ancient and kind. Let the moons drift in their quiet orbits. Let their calm pull on your tides. The universe hums softly through them, and they whisper back, forever circling, forever watching, forever still. In the great quiet of space there is no sound, and yet there is music, a rhythm that binds every orbit, every tide, every falling leaf. It is the music of gravity, played across the strings of the cosmos. Gravity is not a force that pulls, it is the curve of space itself. Where matter gathers, the universe bends softly inward, and everything follows those invisible lines as if tracing the notes of a song. Binary stars spin in duet, their light pulsing like a heartbeat. Each orbits the other in perfect counterbalance, two fires forever dancing around an unseen center. When they move, they send out ripples through space-time itself, tiny waves that stretch and compress reality. Music too low for any ear, but not too faint for the universe to feel. Galaxies, too, keep time. Stars drift through their arms in long spirals, millions of years per rotation, a symphony so slow it feels like stillness. Astronomers sometimes call this cosmic harmony, because the equations that describe orbits resemble the ones that describe sound. On Earth, you can hear gravity's melody in the sea. The moon's pull lifts whole oceans, turning its distant orbit into the pulse of every tide. Each wave that breaks on a quiet shore is a whisper from the sky, a message written in water, delivered by gravity's hand. Even our machines listen to this rhythm. Satellites move through invisible chords of motion, each trajectory a note in the planetary song. When we launch them, we are not fighting gravity. We are joining its music, learning to glide rather than fall. Between Mars and Jupiter lies a symphony of stone. Millions of asteroids, each keeping its own tempo, their collisions rare, their motion graceful and ancient. Seen from afar, they look like dust caught in a sunbeam, turning slowly to the rhythm of the planets. Near a black hole, the tempo rises. Matter spirals inward, whirling faster and faster, its final moments stretched into infinite silence. Even light bends to this unseen rhythm, curving around the darkness like notes around a pause in the music. Here at home, we move through this symphony every day. The Earth and Moon keep each other company, locked in an endless waltz that balances pull and release. The Sun plays the bass line, deep and steady, while the planets circle like drifting chords. From the smallest electron to the largest galaxy, motion is harmony. Each curve, each spin, each fall is part of a single composition. If you could hear it, the universe would sound like patience, a song measured in centuries, with silence as its most beautiful note. Listen closely, and you'll feel it. The slow sway of the stars, the gentle gravity that holds everything in its place. Even as you drift towards sleep, you remain inside that rhythm, a note in the great music of space. Let the pull of gravity cradle you. Let the music of motion carry you into stillness. Everything moves, everything rests, and everything always returns to the same quiet center. Every photon that touches your eyes tonight began its journey long ago. Starlight is memory, light remembering where it came from. When you look up, you are seeing the past, stories still crossing the dark to reach you. For centuries we have gathered that light, collecting it in mirrors, lenses, and dreams. Each reflection is a translation of time into color. To look through glass at the heavens is to listen to the universe telling its oldest tale. The earth turns, the stars draw circles of patience across the sky, each trail a quiet line of remembrance. Astronomers say the sky is a living archive, light still arriving from suns that long ago went silent. Inside a nebula, newborn stars ignite. They inhale the dust of their ancestors and exhale light for the future. Every sparkle, every color, is matter remembering what it once was. Even collisions are acts of memory. Galaxies meet and blend, their stars mingling like the pages of two stories becoming one. The light bends but does not break. History curved, not erased. Down here, beneath the haze of cities, the same ancient photons find new eyes. We inherit their journey simply by noticing. Every gaze upward continues the chain, each generation adding another heartbeat to the cosmos. Sometimes memory falls as fire, shooting stars, tiny fragments of long-lost worlds, burn briefly, reminding us that endings can still be beautiful. Each streak fades, but the warmth it leaves lingers in thought. Even when you close your eyes, starlight continues inward, not through vision, but through imagination. Dreams are the universe translated into human language, light becoming story, gravity becoming calm. From orbit, Earth glows like a constellation of memories. Every home a star, every window a little sun. Our planet is a vessel of remembered light, carrying the echoes of all who have looked outward. Some of that light has traveled billions of years to arrive here, only to rest on a quiet surface, perhaps a closed eyelid, perhaps yours. It was never lost, only waiting for a place to land. If starlight is memory, then we are its mirrors. Every thought, every dream is the universe learning to remember itself. You carry galaxies inside you, their atoms, their silence, their glow. Rest now in that knowledge. You are part of the sky, a brief, bright moment of awareness in an endless sea of light. Let the starlight become dreamlight. Let the memory of the universe cradle you until morning. Even when a story ends, the voyage continues. The universe does not stop. It simply turns another page of silence. As Earth becomes a pale shimmer, we sail again into the wide dark. Weightless, unhurried, unafraid. Out here, Voyager still travels. Its signal takes almost a day to reach us, a heartbeat stretched across light years. Those pulses carry the sounds of home, wind, water, music, laughter. Proof that somewhere a small world still dreams. Between the stars, dust drifts like pollen. Each grain once part of a sun, each destined to join another. Creation never stops. It only changes tempo. The universe breathes through collapse and birth, through endings that are beginnings again. Comets trace long, cold orbits, carrying water and memory between worlds. They are the universe's messengers, reminding us that even ice can shine. Every orbit is a return home by another path. One day, our descendants may follow them, sailing through the dark on quiet ships, guided by mathematics and wonder. They will not conquer space, they will join it, folding themselves gently into its rhythm. For now, we travel in dreams. Each sleeper is an astronaut of thought, crossing galaxies with closed eyes. Inside the mind, constellations are born anew, memories orbiting one another in silence. The cosmic web connects everything, galaxies, atoms, ideas, hearts. Every strand vibrates when another moves. You are part of that vibration, a note resonating in the endless chord of being. And though we wander far, the light always leads us home. Each dawn is the universe whispering, "You are still here." You never truly left. You simply learned to see differently. Scale is illusion. The vast and the small share the same truth. A center of warmth surrounded by mystery. Even when the flame fades, its heat continues in the air. Perhaps the universe itself is dreaming, and we are its brief, bright thoughts. When it dreams again, we will return, different, but still part of the same endless voyage. So rest, traveler of the night. The stars will keep their watch. The journey goes on, soft as breath, quiet as gravity, infinite as love. Sleep within the motion of the cosmos. The voyage is endless, and tonight, it carries you home. The universe continues to hum softly, and beneath that music, our small world keeps spinning. Lights dim, oceans rest, and even the winds seem to breathe a little slower. Every night becomes morning, and every journey circles back to calm. The stars do not rush, they wait, steady and kind. That same light that warms the dawn once crossed the void for millions of years to touch your skin. As you rest, remember, You are made of the same matter as those stars: hydrogen, carbon, light, and memory. You are the cosmos dreaming of itself. Every heartbeat is a tiny supernova, every breath a universe beginning again. You have traveled far tonight, through black holes and auroras, moons and memories, light and time. Now the voyage rests within you. Let it settle quietly behind your eyes, where dreams continue the story. From here, home looks small but infinite, a world of oceans, laughter, and thought turning gently in the dark. Somewhere above, the same constellations keep their silent watch. They do not judge, they do not end, they simply shine. And so, traveler, as you drift into sleep, may you feel the vastness holding you, a cradle of light without edges. Let your mind float free, carried by the same forces that guide the stars. The cosmos is still here, and it waits for you to wake again. Until then, sleep deeply and dream of galaxies. Good night from the sleepy cosmonaut.